like sign. Abstentions, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Next item on our agenda is a Shell building update. And so we've got a couple of fine young men here who can give us an update on the Shell building. Greg or Chris, you know who wants to go first?
Here we go.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
Very good. And are we recording
Yes,
now,
we
Shell?
are.
There's a little switch, make sure it pulls
Martha,
forward.
it's on.
On. There we go. So, good morning. To give you a quick update where we are as of today, we have all the site drainings completed. They did into the seed and straw around the entire site, so that's all taken care of. Base asphalt is completed. Concrete work has been completed. All the windows have been installed, the canopy's been installed. So about the only thing we are down to right now is the accent striping to be painted around the face of the building. I think on the south and the west side of the building, an accent stripe, which I want to mention that to you here in a minute, more detail. And then we got power to bring the building. We met with Duke Energy a week ago, and we've already got the conduit installed from the northeast corner of the building over to the east side, like it's a Meridian Street complete on the east side. And so Duke said we can get one of those poles over there, they can pull power off that single phase temporary power. Eventually, the power will come, from the west side of the property into the building. We were purchasing the building, so we had planned on coming in and permanent power. But for now, temporary is on the northeast corner and then directly to the east. So they said as soon as we were ready, they would be within probably 2 weeks to have power to the building. So I'm thinking by the end of this month, 1st of October, we should have power in the building and turn the lights on and turn the fan on.
Get some ventilation flowing through there.
Correct, exactly. Yeah, fans are there, they've already been tested. We've already run temporary power and they ran just fine.
Chris, we're in conversations with potential buyer of the building.
Okay.
Would it be possible for them to have a walkthrough, talk to you about a punch list of what they perceive might still be needed on the building?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, pretty good.
Questions from anyone? Comments? And thanks, Chris, thanks for you coming onto the project at the point that you did and getting it back on track.
You know, we're thinking
Just a question about, I was there last week. It wasn't very rain, it was early morning and doing stuff, but as soon as we walked through the glass doors, probably opposite side of this area right here,
yeah.
there's a cascade of water.
There's the interior gutter behind the haircut wall in that southwest corner. We got to bring the director back. He's got to finish that area right there in that interior gutter. I've seen the same thing too. Yeah, there's just water coming down that west wall. Yeah.
So that's still
still
something to work on.
Yes.
And then some of the workers, the contractors thought during the rain at one point, they might have saw a water issue at the north end of the building, northeast, where you pointed out.
I know on the southwest, as soon as you walk in those front doors on the south side, I think there's a small leak right in front of those front doors. I'm not aware of where it's on the north side.
Is where all this gutters come down and that's all just a seed and straw.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better plan there to get, that's not going to work long term.
I think until the grass gets established in that area, we may put some corrugated pipe off the downspouts out to the dry, just to get that water away from the building. So I saw it too this morning when I was over there. There's some erosion already, just a little bit of rain we've had.
Yeah, there's some of these places that there's mortar joints in this block facade that's along the bottom, and then it has metal in behind it. And you can see where they didn't really cover all of it. And I did a tour with one of the potential people that's interested in being a partner in this transfer. And it's rusty. And he was taking pictures of that. It's just took up so much. It's actually in
The picture of what you said.
well, how these mortar joints are here, they're covered down to a certain point. They stop like about this area all the way across. And then behind it, you can see it's like a wire mesh. It's part of the product that was put on the wall. And then you can actually see they've already started to deteriorate some, and he did point that out. So I don't know the reason why the caulking wasn't carried on down or what.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that, yeah.
These are just things that he was actually pointing out to me, taking pictures. So coming back, gives you a little bit of knowledge ahead of time of what he's looking at.
Okay, sure.
I'll tell you where timing's gonna be perfect here, because that'll be the next thing we'll be doing is a punch list with you guys, and they can just be part of that punch list, so I think that would work out perfectly.
Yeah.
We know there's some things that need done before the punch list, so we'll take care of those just to try and get the list down as much as we can, but.
There's a couple things I saw this morning too, I was on site this morning, we need to address, my guys need to address, and so we just add that to the list. So how soon do you guys want to get this forward for?
So the person who we want to engage is out of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
So I'll need to get it scheduled with him.
Okay.
But I'm sure we'd like to get it done in the next couple of weeks if possible.
As long as it's not on Tuesday or Thursday morning, I'm good any time.
So Chris, I will check with him, ask him to give you 2 or 3 dates, and then
Okay.
see if those coordinate with you.
Yeah, good. So, let's talk about that accent stripe around the building. You've got, this accent stripe is like 5 or 6 foot tall, it's pretty good size, like two different colors, 3 bands around the building. So I don't know if that's something that we want to go ahead and do, or if this potential buyer has got their own color scheme that they maybe want to paint those different colors. Because right now it's like a slate, gray, and bronze accent stripe. And I've got the painter scheduled for next week and then do that work, but if we think we want to hold off on doing that, we could just either do a credit back to the project for not doing it, painting work, or if they want to do their own color scheme. I hate to do something now, because it's more of a personalized look to me than it is a selling point.
That's a good point.
All right, I'll ask them as soon as this meeting's over.
Okay, yeah, it's on the elevation drawings, I'm sure you get the drawings.
What colors did you say it was?
It's slate gray and bronze, so it would match, southwest corner, that bronze color. One of the stripes would match it, and it'd be like an offset gray.
You can actually get a pretty good idea from the posters up on the front fence.
Exactly, there you
And
go.
one other thing too, back to the property.
Mhm.
Aren't they supposed to reshape the front bank on the outside of the fence all the way down the south end of the building property?
Down Meridian,
That's a good
down
question.
Meridian Road.
Yeah. Or in front of the Hall Road. I'm talking about how the bank is washed out south of the fence.
Between the road and the fence.
Right.
We've always wondered, we've actually always wondered that if you guys own that property or if that was a state right of way. But if you need us to do something in there, we can do it.
I don't
think
think
it's-
mobile. I mean, you might be able to mow it with some of our county tractors with the extended booms on them, Other than that, you will not get to it.
So it's there between the fence and the road is what you're saying?
Yeah, right there. Actually, it's just that south facing.
Does anyone know if that is state right of way? We just weren't sure if it was or not. But
That's not Hamilton, not a state road, is it?
No, it's state, we can't. Yeah, City of Mitchell, I think, owns that road.
Okay.
Dock Hamilton.
That right away, yeah.
And what your thought is just get the grade better where it's easier to mow, basically.
And make the property look better.
Yeah.
But you think that's a state-owned right away?
No, we think
Not
it's
state.
locally owned.
I
think
think
it's
it's
a city.
Okay, it's a city, okay.
I mean, I know for sure, what's our second contractor's name?
Flynn.
Yeah, I know for sure he doesn't think he's doing that, but that doesn't mean we can't let him do it, so.
I remember the county financed the bridge over the railroad track. As soon as the bridge was done, it shut the line down. Big humpback bridge that you go over, that was a project, you're back over $1 million. It cost us to get the hump built. You remember that, Scott? So I'm sure it's all county, city, property.
Any other questions
Just
for
a,
Chris?
just a comment, and that's just a thank you for, since our last meeting, there's been tremendous amount of improvement. And I just want to express that.
Yeah, actually, you made a nice change
Yes,
since you come down here.
very much so.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah.
So,
Very good.
I think that's all we got for you.
Do you guys think from that paint stripe?
Rick, go up to the mic.
I turned it on, come back.
From that paint stripe perspective, I don't think we necessarily needed a vote or anything, but I think we do need to know probably in the next, 3-4 days, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, something.
Yeah, so I got the painter scheduled for next week, so we maybe get an answer by Monday
website shows their colors is a blue, green, and yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I mean, what we're doing will look beautiful, but we were thinking maybe it's a marketing opportunity for them, you know? And it's a pretty nice credit, you know, I
22,000.
mean, it's 22,000 that we could just get back to you and reserve for later, so. So, just the next couple days, I'd say.
Okay.
Probably ideally it would be tomorrow, but you know.
I'll
But
see,
yeah.
see how, they're generally pretty responsive, so.
Okay.
The weather looks nice for next week, and the ground's good and firm, you get time for those guys have to do that work with this lift, before it gets, rainy or muddy out there, tear up the yard.
Greg, I had a question for you. In terms of, our bill operating for contract, as we finish completion of construction, when, everything else remaining the same, when would we need to close with you on the end of the route? Or how much time do we have available?
That's a good question. I'll tell you, I've got the answer right here in my bag, so I'll look at that. I'll have the exact date for you. I think we've still got some flexibility here for a little while though, so I'll check on that and get that answer to you.
Okay, that'd be great, thanks. Are there any other questions from members of the Media Development Commission for our two guests today?
Greg, what interest do we know to date that we have not paid? And are there any further payments due from us to you?
No payments are ever due to me. Oh, you mean just for construction?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have any outstanding right now, so we were just thinking we'd go ahead and finish things up before we do that last one, just in the interest of giving you guys as much leverage as possible against us.
So that'll be your final draw.
Yeah. So there's nothing outstanding right now. The same document that I'm looking up to look for when, how long we have will also tell me about what the accrued interest is, so I can answer both of those questions. Okay, we've actually got the amortization set up to go all the way to February 1st, 2029. So you have plenty of runway there. I think what the idea was is that we put it out that far, but the idea was that I think your financial advisor was going to kind of time it to turn it into something permanent when they thought the rates were the most advantageous, which actually the timing's working out nice right now because it looks like rates are starting to go down quite a bit last week. But you have plenty of flexibility through February 1st of 2029. The accrued interest, let's see, your next payment to the bank is not until February of 26th. So you're only 1/6 of your way into that, and it's probably about $30,000 as of today. Is about accrued interest. So we'll see if time works out. We may not have another payment.
And what's the final draw, the amount of the final draw?
Let's see. The amount that is remaining, this includes retainage.
Includes what?
Retainage, which is kind of like we,
Yeah.
That's on that.
Okay. Total in the contract remaining is $1,292,611.27. So $1,292,611.27. Now included in that is $100,000 bad soil allowance that we never use any of. So that one will not be. So the final bill would be that minus $100,000. And then if you decided to take this credit on the paint, that would be another $22,000.
So the 100,000 of retaining you were talking about.
100,000 is an allowance. We had put in this price back when we hadn't done any of the soil analysis, and so we were worried we might get some bad soil. We never did, and so we never used that $100,000.
We're good.
Do we know about where we are with the square foot cost on this building now that everything's kind of coming together?
Yeah, I'd say if,
You got like 100 square foot?
I can figure that out right now, so if you want me to include site work or take out site work?
I think total cost, well,
All in?
Yeah.
I'll give you both numbers, how about that?
you're great.
We're 50,400 square feet, I think, right?
That's great.
So if you include site work, it's $101.12. If you take out the site work, and it's $85.14. Obviously, in a sale, you would want to include the site work, of course.
Right.
All right, any other questions? A lot of good information, Ray, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, having had this discussion about the Shell building, I would suggest we go back a little bit to the topic we had on the executive session, in that we think there are clients out there who are seriously considering the building and would like to secure the right to do further due diligence on the building. And one way we could do that in a way that's beneficial for them and for us would be to sign an option agreement with the potential tenant of the building. So ask for discussion and/or action, motion to possibly approve allowing us to sign an option agreement.
Make a motion to approve an option.
I would amend your motion so that he can negotiate the final terms on the option agreement on our behalf. Jeff?
I thought that's, yeah.
Okay. So that's Scott's motion as amended. Is there a second to that motion then?
Second.
Always second on that. So the motion would be that, at my discretion, if the client appears serious, I could sign an option agreement on behalf of the redevelopment commission.
Correct.
Any further discussion from the commission, from the floor? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Abstentions, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Appreciate this. Appreciate the good work you guys are doing on the building. We're very excited that it's a great economic development asset for Lawrence County. I know we've been able to submit it on numerous RFPs already. And we have a client who's seriously considering taking Mount Vernon, so that's a good thing.
Good. Whatever timing they have to have auction, we'll make, we'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Good. Thank you.
I'm sure we're not going to have, with this particular client, I'm pretty confident we won't have to go all the way to February.
Great.
I would guess November, December kind of closing on the building. You know. So, okay,
Very good.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Just thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Appreciate the job you've done.
You bet. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
You also need
Before we go further, I'm going to apologize. I've been a little active on my phone, but my daughter's husband's father had a water issue at his house, and he's suffering from dementia. So I'm dealing with plumbers and Servpro and those kind of folks until my daughter and her husband get back in the state. So I apologize.
happen.
Stuff happens.
That's what family's for. Next item on our agenda is downtown Mitchell building discussion. As you know, we've said that the mayor of Mitchell has a fairly large building on Main Street downtown. You've probably all seen it. It's got the fencing out in front of it. It's been there for several months. The owner of the building doesn't have the financial capacity to do any repairs, and so he's talking about turning it over to the city, walking away from it, letting the city have ownership. The city feels they don't have the financial wherewithal really to take the building and restore it, and they certainly don't want to see it demolished, pull it downtown. So mayor has asked whether we as a redevelopment commission would be willing to take ownership of the building again over those $1 transactions. And spend the resources to stabilize the building and then see if there's a willing buyer out there willing to take it off maintenance. I've asked the mayor if he'd be willing to let us go and take a tour of the building to get a sense of what its condition is, what its needs are.
Do you have the address, Jeff?
So,
Or what was the name of the building?
It's across from the hardware store.
it's
Across
on,
from the old hardware store.
it's on,
Across from it, the old Crawford Motors?
it's on the north side of Main Street, Jack. It's painted yellow and it's got the fencing in front of
They
it.
got that whole parking area in front of it, in brown brick.
Okay.
Is it,
The back,
is it the one with the
the
restaurant?
north wall actually has collapsed where it attaches to the next property owner, and it's pulled apart. I think a gas issue did it not go, something like it.
So
It generated a gas issue when it did, but that, which would be probably the northwest corner in the back of that property is where the issue's at. And you can see it through the alley.
All right.
I haven't.
Road trip.
I'll if you want to go, I'll go.
All right.
Would it,
you got a question, Paul?
would it be possible, excuse me, would it be possible for us to maybe have a structural engineer with us while we go through that, and just look at it, to give us some, because I know a lot of times you run into problems with those buildings, how they were built, big shared walls,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, there's always that liability that you get because of the buildings that's married to it. Now, in some cases, you'll find that there is a barrier between them, and I haven't looked at this building, so I don't know if it has that space, that barrier space, what they used to call fire prevention space between buildings. But in most cases, a lot of them are connected, even to the point to where the beams, the steel beams that go through into the next building. And I have run into that with some buildings that I've been involved with, and so I know, you know, there's a lot to look at, and I don't have the expertise to understand what I'm looking at, you know, with some of those buildings, but if we had a structural engineer with us, just, you know, I'm sure there'd be things that he wouldn't be able to say right off, you know, just, you know.
I could try to get a structural engineer. They're all pretty busy. And so I could try. I've been working with the mayor on a different building in downtown, and honestly, it takes a couple of months of time to get an engineer from a construction firm to go with.
I have, and I
Somebody like
started with,
McIntyre's.
he's a citizen.
Can you get
I don't know if that will work for a structural building.
Mitchell works
Be better than that.
And he's retired from Hoosier Energy. And he's retired, he's freelancing a little bit. If you don't have his luck, and I'll call Matt myself and ask him.
Do we have an address for this building?
I
Don't have, I was,
I
that's
don't know
fine,
the address, but
that's fine, just go run it down.
like I said, it's the one that's got the big fence.
her to take a look.
All right, I'll, why don't I just do a round robin with all of you guys, and see if we can find a couple of dates run by the mayor. That's all. See what we see.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other business has come before, redevelopment commission?
Yes. I don't know how many of these are privy to like keep up with some of the current situation with the county budget. Jeff has worked kind of firsthand with me with some of the council members through some additional abatements that have been brought in front of us in the last 60 days. I think that what the county would like to see from some of the RDC is some possible pass-through is the right terminology, but to find some things that maybe could be purchased by the RDC to relieve county general, which is in financial trouble. I mean, we have Martha here, we're hearing from one company or from one advisory consultant firm that we need to cut $2 million. We heard from another one closer to $3 million. Our county general is a kind of a runaway train. And other RDCs seem to take on projects to help relieve the county, and especially in situations like this, or like, I think Mayor Bedford's done a great job with, he utilizes a lot of his fees to come back and work and build infrastructure that would be on the backs of the taxpayer otherwise. I'm kind of in a battle, I guess for lack of better words, as how confident some of the council members feel, was that the right wording?
I believe so.
About how much funding did come through to the RDC. One particular council member leads the pack on that, and I'm trying to come up with ways to reassure them that, you know, the RDC can be there for other projects to help the county. And right now we're looking at, I had a discussion with Jeff that maybe there's some things, it is not going to work out for the police department because it's too late for him to move some items that would work. Some of the other things that you said that could probably look at as software, or maybe some departments that are budgeting for certain items. But with my discussion with Jeff is, would we be comfortable with allocating a certain amount of money going into this next fiscal year that we would be willing to pay invoices on, that let's say that the police car would work out. And the sheriff come, issued an invoice for so much money, and we would take it out of this allocation pot, pay for that car. What this would end up doing is just, like I said, relieving county general, which right now is not healthy, and we're not getting any positive information going forward that's going to help us. Do you feel, Martha? Do you want to touch on what I'm...
Well, we have so many unknowns coming up also with Central One. And so we're still waiting for more information, but the county is going to more than likely spend into their reserves to fund the budget.
So there's this is what the council members do not. They don't feel confident in a fight. So yes, I am kind of...
So to piggyback on the conversation we started here, Scott and I have talked about this 2 or 3 times. So one, you can see from this document, this is Baker Tilly's estimate of what revenue is going to be for the redevelopment commission in the coming years. The tax abatement on the Lehigh invite the county to pass some invoices through to us and let us make the payments on behalf of the county. So that's the conversation Scott and I have had. I do think it would be a good faith gesture, knowing what the county's budget looks like.
You all have kicked it around a while. Do you have a proposal for us to consider, a dollar amount?
I actually have not, well, a dollar amount we did, yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we talked about 200,000 out of the 600,000 we think we'll receive.
Starting next year.
Yeah, starting next year, we need 200,000.
Is this an annual?
It could be.
This is just an earmark
I'd
deal?
say we look at 1 year.
Right.
I mean, I don't feel like pushing it out ahead, but right now I'm trying to get through the water we're in.
I think it's a good idea, but I think if the budget levels out, I see no need for it, but I do think it should be earmarked. If the sheriff department needs $82,000 to buy 2 patrol cars, that $82,000 needs to be earmarked just for that, nothing else.
Yeah, my understanding from Jeff, the way this would work, once we allocated the money, and if a police car would have worked, he would have went and ordered a police car, got an invoice, come to RDC, got our authorization to issue a check, so then that would come off the balance of what we appropriated towards the county general budget for us. Like I said, I'm trying to get a little bit better rapport on, especially with the current situation we're in, but the discussion went a little further because, like I said, there was a head of steam got built up about what we should do with abatement fees and these things that fund this, which the council does have kind of final control. I mean, when this first started, I got the council to, I was still on, that was my first term, we transferred the hospital funds over to this entity. But one of the things that got brought up to me was from some of the council members, they didn't feel like looking out the community that what have we done? Which, when I went over the things that the council has, or the redevelopment has done, she was unaware. But to the discussion I had with Jeff, it's not been well
Publicized?
you know, all these people hear about abatements, abatement fees. They hear about, you got the negative and the positive. And if there's nothing out there saying that the county taxpayer is benefiting anything, or seeing that we're doing something with those funds to better the community, their first thought is, why do we do this? And you know, there's been many projects that since this started, I mean, when we started, we found $200,000, I believe. They have been in an account for several years. That's how it began. We started out helping the Judah Fire Department.
Yeah, we helped the sewer district up there, we helped the fire department, we helped the Avoca Park, we helped fairgrounds.
And, like I said, the council member I was having a discussion with her knew none of this. So I told Jeff, it's kind of a sad situation, like, you've got to go out and push the idea of, yes, we're doing positive things. You don't want to go out trying to, well, I'm not trying to go out and say, look what we did, but yet you need people to be aware of some of these projects to be supportive of, I think, of this entity and to be supportive of continuing to see fees and things supported. Because in the final, the council kind of has the final determination on
So I think the statute says that the fees collected for abatement have to go to an economic development.
right, but they can pick it.
They can pick it.
And like I said, you know, one with other ideas, but that's just kind of why I'm there, and then passing through this county general and helping them in a time like, or helping us at a time like this, I think would be a great show of faith. It's going to benefit taxpayers because of where we're at.
We absolutely need to promote what this commission has done, absolutely. And second of all, this county general fund, is that one silo of money and there's other
Yeah, there's
silos?
There's many funds, there's Riverboat, there's Lit, but county general is the one that is, primarily covers your employee costs, some of the sheriff costs, your commissioner's budget, several things are under the, county general. What else can you name?
Well, county general covers all of your statutory offices, such as the auditor's office, assessors, recorder, surveyor, all the courts, the treasurer, probation, that's what's in county general.
Like I said, right now, that is the one that is anticipated to be definitely a non-sustainable budget. So I guess my question is, would this body be interested in allocating a certain amount of money to be used towards items that would fit the criteria through their budget cycle next year?
And
I would put that in the form of a motion if you like, for $200,000 starting January 1st.
To be available to reimburse for a list of expenses that Scott will help us identify.
And bring back and kind of go over with you, just
Do you get me approved, or?
Yeah, subject to having a final list of
Yeah.
what we expended
we'll
on.
bring back the,
So we got a motion from Jack to that. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
I'm second.
I got you.
I'll take it.
Everybody else.
A motion from Jack and a second from Rex. We'll go down. Any further discussion? So we will come back at our October meeting with more information on
And I think it's a show of good faith on our part.
it is.
I appreciate it, thank you, 'cause I'm trying on this budget. That's all I can say.
Very hard, you're trying.
Call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Abstention, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Okay. Is there, thanks for bringing that up, Scott. I was so excited when the option was almost forgotten.
Yeah,
That's a
well, as good as one thing sounds, I've got the other.
All right, is there any further items to come for the Commission? Hearing and seeing none, we will adjourn the meeting. Our next